Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me again if you are returning, and to somebody that is new, thank you for joining me. My name is untimely and I am a spiritual medium. This is part 2 of the first video that I did on what is a crossover. And this particular one, I want us to delve a little more into the current climate. So people who do events would normally say they do an environmental scanning, or years back they used to say they would do an environmental scanning. What that means is that people would assess the political mood, would interview people ahead of planning an event, just to see if people will be receptive to whatever service or whatever event that is on the cards. So I want us to talk about an environmental scanning of the spirit when it comes to COVID and the issues that are arising from COVID-19 deaths. So I want to speak particularly about crossovers when I do or when I interact with departed souls that went out of this world due to COVID or coronavirus. As I tried to explain earlier on, to say, when a spirit comes through, they have a certain persona, they have a certain mannerism about them, and they would explain to me what happened during the time of their death. That is that one thing that they would explain, so that you fully understand what they were seeing, what they were feeling, what they were tasting, what really went on. So with spirits that depart due to COVID, the manifestation is a bit intense. So it's intense in such a way of them trying to make me feel or to go through the physical things that they went through, the mental state that they went through. And they do so just to emphasize a point to the living ones, to say, I could not have fought. I could not have fought this one out, because most people come through and they have a sense of blame to say, why didn't Papa fight it? Why didn't Ntatemogolo? Why didn't my aunt? Why didn't my sister fight it? So you find that you are across somebody that has guilt, right? Because some people would say, I am the one that had COVID and the deceased person contracted it. Are they angry with me? What do they feel? Why did they not fight it? So there's a sense of guilt, a sense of remorse, a sense of, why did things just all around you just go the way that they did? And so you find the departed person having to say, please be at peace, but I could not. Now, let me talk about why most people or why most spirits say that they are unable to fight it. The manifestation that I normally have, when some of them, they really want me to feel the effects, especially if their loved ones don't understand what really went on. You are normally a strong person, you never get sick. Why this time? Why did you just decide to leave us? It is quite intense, I must say. First of all, the heat, the suffocation, the headache, and some of them would go through temporary insanity before they pass on. You know, when you watch a movie and somebody in a movie is inquiring about somebody that is departed, and they would then say, I hope they did not suffer. I'm sad to bring you news that says most of them do suffer. because they literally feel organs shutting down. They literally feel each and every emotion. They want to express so much, but they can't because the lungs would be giving in. Sometimes the brain can't even comprehend what it needs to say. So those are the kind of physical manifestations that go through. So I'm asthmatic. As me, Ntabi, normal person, I am asthmatic. So when this manifestation comes, it is 10 times extra what an asthma attack is. So if you have had an asthma attack or seen somebody going through an asthma attack and you amplify that 10 times, I really take their issue seriously when they say it's something that you have never seen. So it's a sad time in our world. It's a sad time in our families because we are forced to just accept that death is looming amongst us. And the other day when I said on my WhatsApp that I would be sharing this encounter from a medium perspective, a friend of mine said, I imagine that there are bottlenecks in the spirit. Couldn't have been so spot on. Couldn't have even been more spot on. The souls that are trying to get through to the other side, they are going through a lot themselves, apart from why am I here all of a sudden. You know, in a game, in competition, if there's a tie and it comes to a point where they call it a sudden death, there's that edginess and you anticipate everything else to happen. So in a true sense, when a sudden death, the souls find themselves ill-prepared. The souls find themselves lost. The souls find themselves unable to explain what is happening to them because they feel that they have not done the soul work to prepare them for the other side. We know that we are all on this passage of death. There's a saying that, you know, the journey of death begins the minute you are born, and it is true. But when you're finding yourself that you are well today and tomorrow you are not well, today you are thinking that it's a sudden flu that you normally know how to deal with it, and tomorrow you are gone. So when they explain it to me, to say we do not know where we are at and we are worried about our family members, and we do not know if we will ever get through to the other side, because this is what happens normally when a soul goes out of a physical body. There are certain beta realms that a soul needs to travel into. They need to, first of all, they start lurking around us for the first 14 days. So some people would, after a person has passed on and they say, we require a reading, and I say, wait a bit, wait for a month. Let's wait for the soul to navigate itself around the spiritual realm. It's not necessarily ascending to heaven. Asikolapo today. But there are certain steps, there are certain colors that a soul needs to travel. You know, when you are going through the 5 stages of grief and acceptance, they also go through their own kind of way around the spirit in before they can get to a point where they say they have rested. Now you get to a point where they say to you, where are we? And they're having to contend with the fact that they are still responsible for those that they left behind, meaning you and I, the ones that by the grace of God and our ancestors, we are still living, and we can still see another day, hopefully. After having many interactions with them, I get a sense that most of them will feel better, or they will get pushed into the spirit or to the next realm that is trying to get them to finally rest in peace. I get a sense that they are saying to everybody else that is out there, that is still here, if you try to be okay, I will stop looking back to see if you are okay. So it is not easy when somebody has lost their loved ones and you say to them, please be okay, because the spirit wants you to be okay. But we are at a point in our lives where we are becoming death fatigued, where we are not given enough time to mourn. While you're still mourning this one is falling off. While you're still mourning this one, you hear something about the other person. So even in how we need to deal with our emotions, it's almost like we need to condense our healing processes. And I'm going to advise you, the ones that have lost loved ones due to COVID-19, to have an altar. Print out a picture of the person that you lost and put a white candle there. Talk to them and try to heal each other, because the healing does not happen instantaneously. Even they, wherever they are, most of them are still suffering from the sickness. So it's a super dynamic thing, this COVID-19 issue. And while we are still trying to reel and deal with it here in the physical, they have also not understood it in the spirit. So I would have loved to say it gets better, but this one is a different death altogether, because of the confusion that is there in the spirit, because of the dismay, the despair, because of the sense of loss. So while you are feeling like you lost, they are feeling they are lost. And most of them are just trying to find their way to each other or to somebody. Because a normal death would be, a person would have been prepared, would have gotten sick. Sometimes even if a person is short, they would have their own way of processing it. But in this case, I find that there is a large number of souls that are finding themselves just confused. And it's difficult for the ones that are living to, because they are typically souls that have not rested. Ne? I'm going to just put it that bluntly. Souls that are not rested do not have good news. They don't automatically become ancestors. They don't necessarily become the angels that we want for them to be, or that we are accustomed to believe that when somebody goes on to another realm, they're automatically an angel. When time allows, we will venture into the different steps, or when we do a segment on lifetime readings, different lifetime. This is your first, your third, your last lifetime. When we do that kind of analysis, or when we do have that session, I think you will explain it better. But there is a characteristic of a soul that has rested in peace, and those are souls that are able to do some things to give us good luck, to be easily become ancestors. Not everybody that dies is an ancestor, by the way, but we'll talk about it. What I'm trying to tell you is that most of them are not rested souls. There's a lot that goes on into that field. There's a lot of heartache and anguish. And for now, the only thing that is comfort for them is to say, if you are better, I will stop looking behind and I will accept my fate. That's the story of most of them. As a person that deals between life and death, the depression that the living are left with it's amazing. It's amazing, because you would then have people saying, Sister Ntabi, I keep on dreaming of my mom, keep on dreaming of my dad, and they're not saying anything. Are they okay? They're not talking. And this is one other thing, that a spirit that has not really rested well does not talk because of whatever it is that they are trying themselves to deal with, the backlog thereof. A person may ask, is it not the will of God that somebody would pass away? A person would ask, is it not the will of ancestors, and don't they just normally open up their arms and embrace the departed souls? COVID is a mystery here. COVID is even a mystery currently in the spirit. There's a lot that we have not tapped into with regards to what this illness is. There's a lot that we still need to teach amongst ourselves. There's a lot that we still need to experience amongst ourselves. There's a lot that we still need the departed souls to come and explain to us once they themselves have figured it out. It's called comfort, but it is the truth, according to me, as I go through these things on a daily basis. May we one day find comfort. May we heal each other. May we walk through this journey together, because we really need to all get together, both the living and the departed. And if right now you are touched, if right now you are going through grief, may the Spirit embrace you. Thank you so much for watching, for coming through to the channel. If I have any more developments, we will talk about them. Please subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, Zamanglo Prospera, while we are still alive.